Hi Rare Drops, what's up? Skulls here. Upgrading your weapon right now is a bit. However, there are ways to get easy materials and upgrade stuff. I just recently got all my gear up to 70 and let me tell you, it took me quite some time. But there are ways to get resources basically just handed to you in the game. I've always talked about how important minerals were, and previously I made videos about different areas you can get minerals daily to do the most effective run and get the most out of your time. But for a little while, honestly, gathering was kind of a waste of time. Unless you just like to hoard minerals and be prepared for later times, it wasn't something that you really needed to do every day. But now minerals have a lot of value again. And if you don't gather regularly, you can run out of minerals very easily. In the item lab, we have access to craft very good augment capsules. Now, we've had stuff like 𝐊𝐚𝐰𝐚𝐢𝐿 for a while and Gigas Master, but we have things like this now that can give a big boost in your potency. And yeah, some of these require doing things like dual quests to get the mmorpg, but you can make big money selling stuff like this. Here we have things to craft like the Prim Sword 2 and the Gold Prim Armor 2. So if you want to get your weapons and armor anywhere past level 60, you absolutely need these. We also have Photon Chunk 2A, Photon Chunk 2Bs, Arms Refiner 2s can now be crafted, and of course Arms Refiners. If you look at the cost of some of this stuff, like the Photon Chunks, all of these use a ton of minerals in comparison to augment capsules that use 5 to 10 of each. These use 50. 20 of the Photon Chunks, you can run through your minerals really quick. I've even run into issues, and most of the minerals that I have stacked. You can also trade here for minerals. So before we get into gathering out in the open world, there are some other ways that you can get minerals and things to make your augment capsules. I'll go over this briefly because a lot of you guys might already know this, but for those of you who don't, I don't want to hold that information back. So of course, if you go to the item recycle, most of you are familiar with this, but you have a way to trade in for alpha reactors as well as minerals here using special scratch items. And if you pull from the special scratch enough, you're going to have these items account bound and you won't need the extra. So it's a very, very good use of some of that stuff. Also, for those of you who do ARX records, you can trade in your badges for star gems, as well as Arms Refiner 2s and 𝐀𝐤𝐮𝐦𝐚, which you can use to trade for other things. We still have our STIA item exchange. So if you go down here closer to the bottom, you can exchange Infernium for augment capsules. But if you look down here, you can trade for Arms Refiners, which you use to limit break and also use to make 2s. You have your EX cubes and class cubes, but down at the bottom you also have other minerals. So this isn't something I recommend doing if you don't have a ton of Infernium, but it is here. Now we have the 𝐒𝐤𝐮𝐿 exchange, and if you go closer towards the bottom, of course you can trade in your Neos weapons for 𝐒𝐤𝐮𝐿, but you can also trade those for everything you need to make 𝐊𝐼𝐿. And we have the 𝐒𝐤𝐮𝐿 exchange where you can get the 𝓣𝓱𝓪𝓷𝓴 capsules used for dual quests. You can also get the 𝐒𝐤𝐮 capsules and the Photon Chunks, so the Photon Chunk 2A and 2B. But like I said, we're not going too much into detail with that since you guys may already know that information, and there's videos talking about those things specifically in more detail. But the focus on the video today is more so about where you can get minerals. So we're going to go ahead and take a look at the map. I don't have my map marked correctly, so I'm just going to show you guys some spots that I hit and why they're important. I'm going to show you guys this in the order that I do it. You can do it in whatever order you want as long as you make sure you hit these spots, but this seems to work out for me. So the first place we're going to is North 𝐒𝐤𝐿. What I do is I make a quick run back and get these minerals that are hiding back here. This area gives you some good stuff like photon quartz and trinite, so it's very important to hit this area. So now that we got all of the ones in the back, we're going to go back to the plateau. Once we're at the Ryuker, we're going to run back to this cliff area. So you want to go up and down this cliff and get these. Sometimes they can be a little hidden, so I would just take the time to make sure that you get everything. And this is very important. These only spawn in 𝐒𝐤𝐤. And this is a 𝐦𝐻𝐻𝐻. I have my mag set to track them, and that's why you see it dinging. But these spawn in very specific spots daily. As you can see, this gives you a ton of minerals, but it also has a chance of giving you upgrade materials like photon chunk 2s. Now we're going to go all the way to the back here. Now over here on this waterfall area, you have even more minerals. And I love this. It's just really nice to look at. I usually just jump up here because there are alpha reactors that spawn here and everybody likes free money. Now we're going to go to the plains west. We're going to turn around. And to start, we're going to grab these alpha reactors that spawn over here. And then we're going to head up this mountain. And this leads us to yet another 𝐦𝐻𝐻𝐻. And then we just grab the minerals that are over here. For me, that's as far as I go with Central 𝐒𝐤𝐤. But if you want to, right here, there are more alpha reactors. So it's the last little patch of them. And then there are some minerals on the ground spread out through here. But we're going to go to West 𝐒𝐤𝐤, all the way at the top. Now we're going to run a little bit this way. Right to where that little arch is, and jump down. And then for this, we're just going to follow this trail all the way down. And while doing this, you pass through lots of areas with fruits, vegetables, and seafood. So if you're doing any of 𝐿𝐤𝐻𝐻𝐻's tasks, you can go ahead and get that done as you look for minerals. Then here we have more minerals. Now you're going to get your third 𝐦𝐻𝐻𝐻. Perfect. And that gives us just one more left. Now, sometimes I skip this spot, being completely honest. But today I'm not going to because there is a cave with a lot of minerals in it. I don't know why I skip it. Honestly, it's kind of dumb. But here is where you can find some more minerals. All right, and then if you go into this little cave, you get all these minerals. Perfect. And that is all of the minerals you can get in West 𝐒𝐤𝐤. So now we're going to go to South 𝐒𝐤𝐤. Now there's a spawn over here, but we're going to go to this area over here by Ordinal Tower. I love South 𝐒𝐤𝐤. It's so beautiful. Sometimes there's some on the rocks, but if you go into the cave, you'll find 𝐿𝐤𝐰 and photon chunks. All right, from there, we're going to go back to this. And now we are going to go this way. Ah, here we go. Your 𝐦𝐻𝐻𝐻. And then we have 𝓤𝓬𝓬. Personally, I skip most of 𝓤𝓬𝓬, if not all of it. But with photon scales being worth so much now, let's at least start in South 𝓤𝓬𝓬. Most of the time, the photon scales are on the coast or up here. My friend Appy makes a really good map daily, so I'll give you guys a link to where you can see that map so you can get your 5 photon scales you can find here. But other than that, I would say skip it. If you go to where the 𝐷𝐼DAL is, there's some minerals there. This area is a good place to find tetrazite and some photon quartz. But normally I skip this as well because I'm not really in the need for a tetrazite. And it's a big circle that is very time consuming. Basically, you start at the Ryuker, you go all the way around the bottom. Once you get back here, there's a lift. You take the lift to the top, and in the top area, there's some kind of scattered out. Now let's go to 𝐒𝐤𝐮𝐥𝐿. This one's really fun because you can just like board down. So you can get boxes, which may also include Infernium. You have your Snolls here, which will also give you a little bit of Meseta. But if you go here, you have minerals. So you have your Monotite, you have Tetrasite, there's Photon Chunks. 𝐒𝐤𝐿 has some good stuff, but it's really time consuming, so I skipped it. But if you're really, really low on Trinite, I definitely recommend going there. Now we're going to go to West 𝐒𝐤𝐿. The only thing that's frustrating about this spot is there's so many loops you have to make, but I'm not going to do the full thing. I've kind of been doing like a little short way, but I did a video of where all of the minerals are here if you want to follow that run. It has a really nice loop. From here, I'm going to go to South 𝐒𝐤𝐿. When you get to the 𝐒𝐤𝐮𝐥𝐥𝐬, just jump down. This cave gives you 𝐊𝐚𝐰𝐚𝐼 and Tetrasite. And pretty good amounts of it too. Now we're going to go to the other side. And there is another spot you can get. I think technically it's in Central 𝐒𝐤𝐿, but for time purposes, I usually skip it and start with 𝐒𝐤𝐿. 𝐒𝐤𝐿 is probably my favorite place to do this because the minerals are really, really concentrated. All right, from here, we're going to go to the camp. Now we're going to go out of the city. This area gives you Panelite and 𝐿𝐴𝐚𝐼𝐚. Now you have the outer area too, but I'm going to start here. I'll start by getting these that are right over here. You have Tetrasite and Photon Chunks. So the reason we started over here, instead of the other end, is so we could start a board race. And you don't have to like actually race anyone. You don't have to finish, but by the time you get everything, like you might as well. So I'm just going to immediately begin. And you guys can see my terrible boarding. And the focus here is to break these big guys because the little ones I can come back and get. I don't need the weather to be a specific condition for that. And then we're going to get these last ones here. And as I mentioned before, you don't have to finish the race, but I'm already at the end of the race, so I might as well. I won! Yay! We have more minerals to get over here. This is going to be where the race started. So technically, if you're not goofy like me, you can just turn around and loop and get those. But jumping around in that area, I'm already bad at board racing and it just makes it a little more difficult. So I don't mind spending the extra minute or two that this takes. This is really fun to do when the lava pools are up because you can just like make a bunch explode at once. And now we got all of the ones in this area. It's really nice doing this in 𝐒𝐤𝐿 because you don't have to skip any. And I think I just died. So now we're in the other outer area. And we got really lucky. The weather has changed so I could show you guys how gathering is in this area when you do it during a storm. All right, so let's start over here. Now you have your minerals that spawn over here, but if you wait just a second. Don't die, that's not a part of the process. Okay, that didn't break anything for some reason. That was actually really strange, but I'll show you guys in a different spot. That was not worth my life. Alright, so over here we have some more lava pools. So let's just wait for a bomb. And you don't have to wait for it if you don't want to, because it does take some time. But I do it just because I enjoy it. And then don't forget, oh, I almost forgot myself. During certain weather conditions, you can get 1 Infernium here. But yeah, guys, that is it for the mineral run. And I'm glad I could show you guys some ways that you can get upgrade material as well as augment capsules virtually for free. I've pulled this back into my routine of things that I do daily. So if you watch my streams, I usually start with this run, and feel free to follow me around, or you can do the run along with me. But yes, everyone, get out there, make that Meseta, and stay comfy. Thank you for watching.